And welcome into the bonus question here on Hockey Inside Out. And we'll discuss the Martin St. Louis approach to this season. He's trying to find the balance here of implementing his system and trying to win games and how hard it is, guys. How does he go about with this moving forward with what he wants to do, trying to have the fine balance of success while also making sure that these guys know what his system's all about?
Of course, it's concepts, not systems, with Marty St. Louis too. That's his thing is when he first came in. But it was interesting because on the road, I was on that road trip, West Coast road trip recently, and after they'd blown that 4-0 lead and lost 7-6 in overtime, Marty was asked about blowing the lead and whatnot, and he talked about it was really interesting. He's such an interesting guy. Every time you talk to him, he's so smart and thoughtful about the game. And he said, there's a brand we want to play. And the brand I'm trying to teach these guys to play, I can't really teach them how to win at the same time. And that was a perfect example of the game. He wants them to play a fast-paced, offensive game where as soon as we lose the puck, we're on defense. Like you watch the Canadiens defense, how they pinch in at the blue line, the offensive blue line, it's constant, right? That F3, the high forwards got to be ready to come back. He wants to play a go, 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 go type of game. And there's a cost with that, right? Sometimes you're going to get caught. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes. He's encouraging not encouraging. He's not punishing his players for making mistakes, and they're making some, and sometimes they end up in the back of the net. But he doesn't want them to stop making those mistakes to try and win the game, right? So he wants them to keep playing that brand, play that brand, and it's entertaining to watch, right? It's fun to watch. His team scores goals, are offensive. It's not the old dump it in and hold back, get a 1-goal lead, and hope Carey Price can stand on his head the rest of the way. So it's fun to watch, and it's entertainment. Moving forward, the Canadiens are going to be an entertaining team to watch after being so boring for so long. So he wants to focus right now on that brand. He wants to play that fast-paced brand. He's willing to live with the blowing the 4-0 first period lead and losing for now. But once he gets that brand to the place where he's confident they understand what he means, they realize they're free to make decisions and he won't be punished if they make a mistake, then he can start bringing in, okay, now when we have that 4-0, we might alter the brand a little bit and dump it in and play more of a safe game. But he doesn't want that right now. His main focus right now is on the brand of hockey he wants them to play. Once they get that down and he's comfortable where they are, it might be 1 season, 2 seasons. We're not sure how long. They're in no rush with this development and rebuilding program. Then the focus will turn more on, okay, now here's how we win while playing that brand. I think it's a brilliant strategy. The reason it works is because everybody's on the same page, from Gorton, Hughes, St. Louis, the players in the room. I spoke with Jake Allen about it. The veterans get it. The young guys get it. As Jake Allen told me, he says, the young guys don't want to play dump and chase hockey. They want to play fun hockey, and they're having fun. And you remember Josh Anderson's quote after, I think it was the last game that Dominic Ducharme coached. He says, it's not fun coming to the rink anymore. These guys are having fun coming to the rink. The brand they're playing is fun to play. It's fun to watch. And Marty St. Louis is willing to live with, it might cost him a few games here and there, but moving forward in the future, I think it's a really, really good plan.
Stu, you touched on a couple of details of the game that I think Martin St. Louis has brought in. It's quite obvious that he wants to play with the puck. He wants the guys to be creative. He's got them playing a very disciplined brand, if you will, with the third guy high, and a very big part of their success, I think, is it's a team game. Supporting guys that have the puck, covering up for guys that, maybe are not in the right position, but understanding what their job is with and without the puck. And the guys are buying into it. They're committed. They're, prepared to block shots. They're prepared to do anything to make the difference in their overall play. And Martin St. Louis, like you said, he's a pretty smart guy, and it's really nice to see that some of these kids are progressing the way they're progressing, and buying into the committed plan of showing up each night, working together, having fun, and getting the job done at the end of the day. And right now, I think that the area of somewhat of concern, offensively not overly concerned with, because their transition is like, once it's turned over, let's go. 5 guys are going, and let's be creative. The defensive zone play gets a little bit sloppy, which is normal when you've got some guys that are out with injury, but they're going to shore that up with a little bit of time, get some guys back, get some of the young kids a little more experience on understanding how to play in their D zone. And I think, with time, that's going to straighten itself out to the point where they're going to be much better off in their defensive zone play. Offensively, not a concern with the type of guys and the type of game that Martin St. Louis has them directed to play.
It's once again a sign of how well Martin St. Louis understands what needs to be done for this organization, right? It is hard to win when you're trying to play an offensive style in a rebuild, and they are, frankly, accomplishing it anyway. Mm-hmm. But when you don't have the horses to ice a team like, say, the Toronto Maple Leafs that has quite a bit more top-end talent than the Canadiens and a little bit more depth as well, it is hard to play that kind of style and win. But the fact that St. Louis recognizes that and is still willing to make the sacrifice to go through with it to get better in the long term is why he's such a great fit for this organization. And I'll say the Canadiens have had good coaches in the last 30 years. They've had some bad ones too. But, I have this puck here on my desk. My dad caught this puck going to a game at old Maple Leaf Gardens between the Canadiens and the Leafs when he was 14 years old, back in, I believe, 1973. And the way that the Canadiens played back then, that's the brand that I want to see again. Obviously, they're not going to win 5 Stanley Cups in 4 years or 5 years kind of thing. Again, the cap era has destroyed any possibility of pure 70s, 80s dynasty again. But I want to see the brand of the Montreal Canadiens that Martin St. Louis has in his head, that high-flying offensive style, a modern team, not the Jacques Martin or Michel Therrien, just hunker down, hope we win, rely on our goaltender kind of style. That's never been the successful brand of the Montreal Canadiens. That bring your lunch pail to work kind of style that the Canadiens have embraced under Bergevin and previous regimes. That's the Toronto Maple Leafs thing. So go for the talent, play fun. This is great. I think that we're going to see, as Rick said, it's going to sort itself out over time as younger players become veterans, as more young kids make the NHL and make big impacts. It's just going to be a fun process to watch unfold.
Well, hockey's entertainment, as I said, and there's empty seats at the Bell Center every game. Jeff Molson's noticed that. The Canes have not been an entertaining product for quite a long time. And, one of the things I like watching at the games, you maybe don't notice it as much watching on TV, but for fans who do go to the Bell Center, just watch when the puck comes around the boards in the offensive zone. Previous seasons, the Canes defense would be backing up at the blue line as soon as the puck got up to the hash marks. Okay, let's back up and play defense. Now they pinch almost every single time. I've spoken with some of the players about it, and the key is to have the F3, the high forward that Rick mentioned. Forwards got to buy in too, as Rick said, never trust the forward, right? But the defensemen are trusting their forwards now. So you're watching. It's really cool to watch. You see the defenseman pinch, and boom, there's the F3 right back to cover up. And it's constant. It's a flowing thing. So Marty St. Louis has got all the guys to buy into the concepts he believes in. And you're saying, they're willing to sacrifice not winning, but they're still winning. They're winning playing this while the focus isn't on winning. So for a Canadiens fan, that's something to really look forward to. If they're winning when the focus isn't on winning, if they continue to develop this brand the way I believe Marty St. Louis can, when they start focusing a little more on winning, that's when they have that successful franchise that Jeff Gorton spoke about from the day he took over. They want a team that's going to be good every year, that's going to be a playoff contender every year, not one that's going to be good for 2 years and then bad. That's why they're bringing in so many young guys. They're bringing in this concepts that Marty St. Louis believes in now. It's refreshing to see. This team it's been a long time since the Canadiens have had a plan, a real plan about what they want this team to look like in the future.
Very quickly here, guys. Sorry, Rick. Very quickly here, guys. Is Martin St. Louis breaking down barriers that former NHL players could become successful in the long-term view of being a head coach in the NHL, Rick?
Well, I think Martin St. Louis is always, he's not about individuals so much. He knows, obviously, his go-to guys, but I think his overall team plan is, everybody has to buy into it. Everybody has to be accountable. And, this is key in having the success. But, the bottom line out of all this is, and we touched on it just before, talk about systems and style of play. As a coach, you have to fine tune your game to the personnel that you have. And the Montreal Canadiens being what they are today, is a much better all-round team, than what they were years ago. So they can play this type of upbeat, up-tempo type of game where they're involved, and their transition is great. They can pinch, they can get back, they can all skate. So this goes hand in hand with their overall personnel, and and then the fine tuning comes to Martin St. Louis on making things happen individually and as a group.
Yeah, Marty St. Louis is a pretty unique individual too. He's not just your regular former player. I mean, Wayne Gretzky, arguably the greatest player ever, wasn't a great coach. Marty St. Louis he's so smart. He thinks the game, and the key is communication. I asked him recently, where does communication rank on the list of important things to be a successful coach? And without hesitation, he says number one. He's a great communicator.
Well, communication has been key for the Montreal Canadiens and for St. Louis' regime as the head coach of this franchise. We'll see if he becomes a pioneer for coaches with no experience to become head coaches at that level at the professional ranks of the NHL. Well, that'll do it for this bonus episode here of Hockey Inside Out. Submit your questions or comments. We look forward to conversing about that in a future episode. And don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube page for Hockey Inside Out, and sign up to the newsletter on MontrealGazette.com/newsletters. Full episodes and bonus content, head on by Hockey Inside Out. On behalf of Rick, Stu, and Andrew, wish you a great week. We'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.